Bhargava?
Well, Bhargava is a person. He was born in North India, and like he is a very good person because he helped the world. In total, I'll tell you how much he donated. So out of 4 billion that he earned by creating something called 5 hour energy, it's a drink that actually gives you energy for 5 hours. You'd see it in shops, but it's this big. Okay, this big. So it gives you 5 hours. So by doing all those little bottles, he made over like 3 billion of them, like more than that by now. So he all in total earned $4 billion. During the 4 billion, how much did he donate? Can you guess?
Maybe 3 billion.
Yes, he donated almost all his money. Actually, that's kind of wrong. He donated 99% of his 4 billion. So he doesn't really have as much as he did. So by donating that much, what does he do? He creates stuff to lift the poor to high. Well, not too high, but to make them a good life. So as one of the main creations he's trying to do is something cool, under our feet we get a lot of heat. He's gonna use that heat to make energy because the Earth's core, it's very hot. So he's trying to dig a hole with a cable called, well, it's graphene. It's basically graphite that's like very small layers and layers and layers. And then he went to this company and asked, can you make me a thin cable or wire or thread of graphene? They said, why? Well, because a thread can make anything. It can make a t-shirt, anything. So he started by that thread. He thought, if I make the threads, all of those threads, making it into a cable, I can collect the energy from the Earth's core and send it back safely, so it doesn't harm anybody. It doesn't consume any CO2 or something. So the way graphene actually it's better conductor than copper. So if you make copper, it would melt. It's too hot to send it to the ground. And going 4 kilometers to the ground, it would burn, so it would melt. So it can't actually conduct that. So they're using graphene, so it's perfect. It doesn't actually melt. So it sends the heat, to the cable to here. That's where they actually change it into electricity. So that's how he's doing for the energy. For also another electric thing called free electric. It's a bike that you pedal and pedal for 1 hour, and it gives you electricity for 24 hours. It's just like an exercise bike and all those times, so normal. But so if you get a blackout, so no electricity, it'll be very dangerous. So if you just pedal that for 1 hour, you get the electricity to charge your mobile phone, get, I think it's 10,000 lumens of light bulbs, and it can power a fan, a phone, 10,500 of lumens, and that's how much it can power by 1 hour of cycling.
That's a good idea. Okay.
That's just because it's bad to be in the dark without a phone. It's when there's such problems with blackouts and stuff. But the other creation he did was something called the rainwater production or something. It's when there's a machine, it switches seawater into any water, distilled water, normal water, any farming, agriculture water. So, because it's bad to make normal water into agriculture because it has too much salt into it. But up till now, no one has ever created something that can change seawater to agricultural and any type of water.
No, but there are some, in fact.
There are some, but it can only change to normal water. It cannot change to agricultural and like that. But so it creates about, I think it was 100 gallons per, I think 1 hour, 100 gallons. So the idea was to put a whole barge, so a boat, in other ways. So you'd have a lot of these like rainwater production stuff. That's the like thing. So if you have a ton of them, the water would safely come into that, the seawater, by the barge. That the water, say if the boat was here or the barge, it'll like suck in the water and send it to all of the like, well, let's say freshwater making metal stuff. So if you have all of those, because the thing is the California drought, was it? Yeah, there's not enough water, and if they don't solve the problem of getting fresh water, it'll eventually become a desert. So the idea of making that would actually solve its drought and on many other countries for water, and because like Africa, they have salt water, but they need fresh.
What about India? How can India benefit from out of these inventions?
Well, India's like there's a heat wave recently, wasn't there? So that heat wave, water shortage. So that would be pretty useful. If you have like 12 on a barge, or let's say at least 12, that's like 1,200 gallons per hour. Or 1,200,000 gallons actually. So yeah, so actually that would be very useful. And he also improved in one other way, to health. As health, he actually first thought it's like something with oxygen and blah blah blah. But he met someone called I don't know, William. His name was like Sir William, I don't know, Drake or something. So he told, to be well, you have to have wellness. So he thought of doing this creation called, I don't know, what was it called? It was like this machine that pumps. So you'd have like one over here, a strap, and a strap here, and a strap there. So it's basically blood will go and come back and come back. So that session of going around and around, actually, because some of the diseases, like 12 or 14 or 15, I don't know, like so many diseases about like dementia and stuff, this because of the blood, like because the blood tube to go to the heart is it goes like from like this to smaller and smaller and smaller. So that's really bad. So blood wouldn't get through. So blood wouldn't get through the body. So if you do that creation, it basically increases the blood tube, so blood would freely go through and there.
Okay. So, okay, that's...
Oh yeah, it was called Project Renew.
Project Renew, okay. So how the world can be, do you think that it's really useful for, so you think that it's very useful for humans and all over the world?
Yeah, it's useful. It can lift... it can lift people out, like, because poor people, it can at least lift them out from the poor. So it's good to have everyone at least equal to make them a better life.
Okay, so...
It's useful to everybody. Like doing the free electric, about cycling for 1 hour, you get exercise, you power your house for 24 hours. It's good. It's a benefit.
So
the only bad problem about it is just you get stronger and stronger.
Okay, so say thank you to Bhargava.
Thank you.